to the Schmidt's 100 Acre Woods. Today I'm just going to do kind of a quick video to kind of go through what the plan is for the building that is going over the sawmill. So we kind of been talking about it and everything, so we kind of just did a rough layout here, kind of color coded some things to make it a little bit easier to see, and went through and just kind of dimensionalized everything just to make sure we have all our dimensions right, so we end up with the correct fall on our roof and and things like that. So so I'll start with this page here. So basically what you're looking at is you have the concrete. So this is the side where the carriage sits, and then you go downhill and we have the thicker concrete down the hill because of the slope. And you have the blocks that we put up, so you have the block wall there. The orange here is the stud wall that we're going to build out, so those are going to be 2x8s. And then we have the bottom sill plate here, and then 2 top plates. So you have the top plates that to build out the wall. So we did it in 2 sections, so you have half of it and the other half. And this is dimension that 1 square is 1 foot. So about the halfway point, we split it and we did one, or we're going to build one wall and then build the other wall. So to tie those in, we're going to have a top plate that then sits over top that to tie that splice together, and then have little pieces on the ends. So then the kind of pink color that you see here, those are going to be the 6x6s. So a total width of that will be about 12 inches, so we'll have a foot. And then they'll go up, and then in the blue here is with the LVL, and that will sit pocketed into the 6x6s. So we have those there, and it's going to be sitting out front, so here you can see it's kind of in front of the block wall, so it'll be at the very front and hold that. So looking at the front, all you'll see is the post and then the stud wall. And then we have some of our dimensions and everything here that we've kind of figured. I won't go into all that here, but just kind of gives you an idea of what it'll look like from the front. We were looking at trying to make sure we get our angles correct and get everything that we're looking at here. So we want 2 feet of overhang on the back of all this, so that's what the 24 inches is. And then by doing the math from what we have at the front to the back, you can come up with that. And then figure the angles to get the other dimensions. So that'll be the back part of the slope, and then this is going to be the front part, so we want some overhang out the front of it as well. So that's what you're seeing here is the what the slope and overhang will be at the front. Okay, and then this is the roof. So just kind of go this direction with it. So basically what this is showing is in the darker color that you can see here, the blue pen, that is the concrete. And then what you have here is we'll go 2 foot on center, or I'm sorry, 4 foot on center for each of the rafters. So we have the rafters, and then we have the trim board that will go all the way around the outside. And then the pink in this case are 2x4s, and those will be your runners that you put that you'll attach like the metal roof to. So here we're just trying to dimensionalize what we'll need for like 1x6s on the outside, and then what we'll need for overall 2x4s to tie everything together. So this will be coming out the back, so we'll have 2 feet sticking out the back, and out the front you'll have the additional sticking out for that overhang. So and then you'll have the 2 feet on the sides, so you help cover everything so that even if you're standing at the edge of the concrete, you're not getting dripped on, have the overhang. So pretty much everything we build at this point has the 2 feet at least of overhang, and then we'll have a little bit of additional on the front. But here we're just trying to dimensionalize how much or how many 2x4s we'll need. So it's the good and bad thing about being able to cut our own lumber is it's nice because you can if you have the trees kind of prepared, you can just put a tree on and start cutting. But you have some stuff that's not always usable, you know, whether it's got too much twist in it, or some knots or something, or it's got a split. So we need to have kind of more, plus you have to be able to store it. And you know, it's not like you just go to the store and you buy all, you know, let's say 30 2x4s that we need. We'll have to kind of amass those as we go and kind of work on getting that put together over time. So the main thing here is the orange up to this point has to be one, there should be one solid piece. We're looking at making those 3x4s, make them a little bit bigger rafters that will kind of stand out. So that has to be one solid piece, and that's 173 inches. And then you'll have a solid piece at the front that is the overhang off the front, and it looks like it's 42 inches. So this is the main one that we'll have to kind of come up with that overall length, because you want the rafter to be all one piece and not have multiple pieces scabbed together for strength reasons. Whereas like these 2x4s, even though they're drawn all together, you know, you can have a small run of 8 feet, have a split. As long as you're getting it on a rafter and splitting the rafter, you can then do another run and just tie them together. So you know, that's not as critical as having all one piece from you know, one end to the other, where you're trying to come up with like 28 feet of a board all at once. Just, you know, we don't have the means with our current mill to be able to do that. First of all, this biggest that we can do is 18 feet 6 inches. So being able to get these 70 or 173 inch ones won't be a problem. It's more just having the trees and getting everything in place to get them cut. So so just kind of very rudimentary sketches here. The idea behind this, I mean, we have the basic idea kind of all laid out. We're just trying to come up with a list for kind of our lumber needs and what we need there. I'll do the best to kind of show this. Not sure too much glare here, but anyone who knows us knows that we take everything kind of to a nerdy level. So here this is in Google Docs, but an Excel spreadsheet that basically has dimensionalized out what we need, what the item is, and then a count for each of those items, and then a half cut, so what we have completed. So we still need to go through and update this, but this kind of gives us an idea of what we currently have cut versus what we need, and then our still needs, so that we can kind of go through and figure and fill this out, and just have, you know, super simple formulas in this to say that, you know, once you have the 7 there, you don't need any more. So just a very quick, dirty kind of spreadsheet here, just to kind of show what we have, what we need, and what we still need, and then each of the items here. So just taking everything from these drawings that we did here and adding it to a spreadsheet so we can better track it. So be utilizing this just as kind of an easy way to track what we've been doing on the mill, so that we don't cut more than what we need in some instances, and make sure we have enough cut in others, so that you know, we're not wasting boards, and also we don't get to a point where we need additional boards for something and you know, have to throw a tree up on the mill and mill real quick to kind of finish. So we want more than we need for some of these things, so that we can, you know, get it built and have a little bit of extra. Definitely like the 2x4s and things like that, though they won't go to waste. You know, we can always use them on something. So we'll get that all put together and fill that out, and we'll have videos of probably starting with building the back stud wall, along with the little wing walls. So I didn't show it on here, but there's 2 small wing walls that will then come out for the blocks that sit out this direction. And then once we get that done, it'll probably be the 6x6s, which we do have cut, but we need to create the brackets for these. So we were going to order brackets from like Menards. That's a whole different story, but had some issues getting those, and then the cost ended up being pretty high. So we decided that because we weld and can get some scrap metal, that well, let's take a piece of I think it was 5-inch angle iron, cut it down the angle, and then have flat plates that we can then make a flat plate, put 3 uprights, and then be able to pocket the 6x6s in between those, and then run carriage bolts all the way through to tie that all together. And really, there's not going to be any side forces on this. It's all going to be down force from the roof down. Really, that bottom plate is just to stop these bottoms from kicking out or moving around on the concrete. So we'll anchor them and put like Tapcons down into the concrete to hold those brackets in place. So that'll be the next thing we need to work on, get those done, and then once we have that, we'll be able to get the LVL set in place. So we'll notch the 6x6s, put it in place, get it bolted on, and then after that we should be able to start putting the rafters up, getting the rafters laid out, and then start on the roof. So that will be, you know, most of this here. So getting the rafters put up, and then we'll have our 1x6s to go around the outside to tie everything together. Plan for the sawmill building. So this is the first building that we're doing with green wood that, you know, we have used, or that we have cut. So kind of exciting to be able to build something from that. We have a little bit of poplar that we have cut for it, but a lot of it's going to be red oak, which I know it's kind of, I don't know if waste is really the correct word, but you know, it's kind of one of those things you don't really think of using red oak as construction lumber, but that's what we have a lot of right now. And it's very wet and everything out, so you know, getting other trees out of the woods right now isn't super practical without making a mess. So we have the red oak from doing the clearing of the picnic shelter at the 100 acres. So we have all that back to the homestead. So that's a lot of what we've been milling up right now, just because we have it, and it's got some pretty good straight pieces in it for these longer 3x4s that we need, and has overall been pretty good wood, so we should be able to get our 2x8s and everything out of it. And we may have a mix of a little bit of poplar and a little bit of red oak on some of those, so we'll just have to kind of watch that whenever we build, to try to be as consistent as possible, kind of where we use it, just so that if it wants to dry at different rates or the amount that it dries is different. Both are fairly green trees. They've been cut down for about the same amount of time, so in theory, you know, the moisture content's going to be similar, and obviously, you know, red oak versus poplar, one's going to hold more moisture than the other, so there's going to be some variation there, but this is a permanent structure, but yet on the other hand, it's not, I mean, it's got the sawmill and everything under it, but it's not a super critical structure, so it'll be a good learning experience for us to build this and then kind of see if we have any issues with warping or anything. So whenever we go to build like the picnic shelter or other structures in the future, we'll have kind of a better idea what to expect, and you know, just see how working with greenwood goes versus you know, if we need to let other things dry to you know, have a structure be a little bit better. So this is kind of our first go at it, so so it's more of a learning thing than anything. So we'll I'll keep you guys posted on how this project goes, getting everything built. Hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit better idea what exactly we're building and what it's going to look like. If you guys have watched previous videos, it's going to look fairly similar to the woodshed that we have that stores our firewood. you know, as far as the slant back roof, and then with a little bit of overhang on the front, and all that. The only difference will be we have this LVL for to have one big open spot in the middle. It's, you know, really made for that, and that way you can drive a, you know, an 18-foot log in and set it on the mill without having anything obviously in the middle. So so that's the idea behind that. So stay tuned to see how construction on that goes. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, catch you next time.